Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all thanks, glory, honor, and praise to the Supreme Power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honor to the elders and the apostles of the Great Millstone. Peace and salutation to the hopeful elect. This is the brother Kazawan from the GMS Bahamas camp, back at you through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai with another lesson. Lord's willing, the lesson be edifying and serves its purpose, which is to help build the spiritual tabernacle of King David. All right. Fair use, fair use, fair use. We have wars and rumors of wars and uproars of the people happening. All right, that's another measure showing you how close we are to the end. All right. Prophecy is jumping off of the pages left, right, and center. Lord Yahweh Shai spoke about these things to look for, all right, in the end times. And right now, these things are intensifying. Okay. So, like I said, fair use. This is a TikTok video that I'm going to use to show examples of uproars of the people happening in Ireland, in Germany, in France, in Poland, in Britain, Australia, Austria, and Spain. Okay. And also in Nepal also. I have a little article from Nepal. Okay. And, it's just showing that this is how close we are. But these things are not being reported how they should. All right, because we know who in control of the media. But, this the kingdom of Esau, Edom is circling the drain. All right, it's almost time for Lord Yahweh Shai's return. So this is why we implore our people to repent. All right, and come back to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai while the doors of mercy are still open. All right, speaking to you so-called Native Americans, Negroes, and Latinos, this is only for you. The time for repentance is now. You don't want to get caught with your pants down. All right, when Lord Yahweh Shai returns. But nevertheless, I'm going to play this video. I'm going to get an article, get a couple of precepts, and try and drive my point home. Lord's willing to be edifying. Fair use.
Yep, that is happening right now all around the world, and you have no idea. That was the whole point of the TikTok takeover. TikTok was the only app left that allowed us to have a conversation without government, without the powers that be.
And I beg to differ because we know all these things are basically government control. All right, all these apps, all right, all these social media outlets, all right, all these are basically government control. Okay, because they ain't gonna give you nothing without them having full knowledge of it, because their main objective, all right, is to know everything and to be a big brother. Try to be big brother to everything, and basically have some sort of control over it. So, me and him would agree to disagree on that.
To be fair, today, a Nigerian artist, this guy named Kelly Handsome, he slid in my DM to let me know that there's a new app that's an African app. It's owned by Africans, funded by Africans, and it doesn't, there's no oversight from white people. My only issue with the app is the name of it. It gives the same Instagram / but anyways, I'm going to check it out. I will check it out regardless of the name. I'm going to check it out and see how it is. And if it's definitely what it says, I'll give the word. But yeah, right now the whole world is, and all of these protests are for different reasons. Some are for immigration, some because the governments are poor. Like everyone is protesting for different reasons, but Europe is in an uproar right now, but no one knows that shit because he who controls the media, right?
He who controls the media. All right, which will bring me to my first precept before I even get into the article. All right, this is the book of Micah. All right, Micah chapter 2 and 1. It reads, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and wake evil upon their beds." Who's this speaking about? All right, he who controls the media. All right, the so-called white man, Esau Edom. All right, the media is part of their witchcraft and their sorcery. How they get to manipulate and rule and control the masses. Take it again from the top, Micah 2 and 1. "Woe to them that devise iniquity and wake evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand." All right, and it is in the power of Esau Edom's hand. All right, this is why they practice it. They know they control the narrative, so You only gonna know what they want you to know unless you do a deep dive or a deep research, like how they do. Okay, like how they do. That's the only way you really find out these things. Because if you ask, I'll take for instance in here in the Bahamas, if you ask 90% or 100% of our people if they know what's going on in Poland, Austria, all right, Germany, Spain, Nepal, all right, they can tell you they ain't know. All right, once it don't concern them over here, they ain't checking for it. All right, but we the prophets of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, all right, that's our job. All right, to make you aware of the things so you don't have no cloak for your sin. All right. This is another article pertaining to our prayers of the people. It says the French government collapses. Prime Minister Francois Bayrou has been ousted by the National Assembly in a no confidence vote. It says that the French government has fallen after Prime Minister Bayrou lost a crucial confidence vote in Parliament on Monday. It said he is the second consecutive Prime Minister under the President Emmanuel Macron to be ousted, throwing the nation into political and economic turmoil. All right, so them people vote them. The people they vote him out. All right, they collapse the government over there in France. All right, ever since the the leader, his name slipping me, from Burkina Faso. All right, ever since he took over. All right, what it's been showing. Ever since he took over, what it's been showing is that French really never had no, they really had never had no power. All right, they were working on the backs, all right, of the Hamites, the African people. All right, over there in Burkina Faso. All right, but it says a no confidence motion in the National Assembly requires at least 280 votes to pass. Monday's motion received 364 votes, with a left-wing New Popular Front and the right-wing National Rally uniting opposition to end month-long standoff over Bayrou's austerity budget. Okay, so that's France. France in turmoil. Now we get to the big story here from CNN. All right, it reads: a parliament in flames, a leader toppled, Nepal's Gen Z protests ask what comes next. All right, and here you can see drone images of what's going on in Nepal. All right, they burning down the city. They burning down basically their House of Parliament. They're burning down their Senate and their courthouses. They burning things down over there. All right, in retaliation for the way the government is spending the money. All right, the government is treating its people. All right, but we know all this is through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. This is drone images. All right. It says what began as a Gen Z-led social media movement against a lavish lifestyle of Nepo kids led to the ousting of Prime Minister and the day-to-day social unrest Nepal has seen in years. Okay. It says now comes with a complicated question: what happens next? Plumes of dark smoke towered above soldiers enforcing a curfew on the quiet streets of Kathmandu Wednesday morning, as rumors swirled about a possible meeting between the leaderless Gen Z movement, the army, and the president. All right, so they got them by the balls right now. All right, they answered. But all we know, this is true the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, because we know he set up rulers, he set up kings, and he set up these things. He set up governments. As we can read here in the book of Proverbs, the 8th chapter, the 15th verse, 15 and 16th verse, it reads, by me, kings reign. By who? Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. He set them up. And princes decree justice. By me, princes rule, and nobles, even all the judges of the earth. All right. So whoever in charge, whoever in the seat of power, whoever leading the country, whoever's a king, whoever leads a government, a president, a prime minister, and so on and so on, he's only there through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. All right, I can read it again. Proverbs 8 and 16. By me princes rule, and nobles, even all the judges of the earth. All right, so when you see the people uproar and the people oust or overthrow these governments, all right, that's the spirit of the Lord in them. All right, removing them. All right, for whoever the Most High Power Yahweh Shem Yahushai have to come to take their place. All right. It says, an easy calm seemed to have settled after 2 nights of chaos that saw tens of thousands of people pour onto the streets to vent their fury, setting fire to Parliament and the Supreme Court, key symbols of the state, and clashing with government forces sent to keep them under control. 30 people have been killed and more than 1,000 wounded in the clashes, according to the health ministry. All right, so 30 people make their fate and 1,000, all right, get wounded, all right, during this uproar of people, all right. So we know that the Most High Power Yahweh Hashem Yahushua ain't playing. 30 souls come back to meet him, all right. But who caused this? The book of Isaiah 45:7 reads, I form the light and I create darkness, I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, do all these things. All right. So the Most High is in control of all these things what's happening. You might say, oh, that's bad, them 30 people dead. Oh, that's bad, 1,000 people get wounded. Oh, that's bad, what they doing. But know that the Most High Power, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, is a balanced power. All right. He in control of all these things. You can't question with the Lord, though. All right. It says the unrest started early September when a group of Nepals, fed up with the politicians' children posting about their designer hide bags, luxury travel, while most people struggled to make ends meet, organized peaceful protests. Anger had been brewing for years about the country's worsening unemployment crisis and the lack of economic opportunities, exacerbated by what many viewed as a growing disparity between the country's elite and regular people. Alright, so the people get tired of their shit, man. You flaunting their wealth, you flaunting their money inside their face, whilst they living it from paycheck to paycheck, could barely feed their families. Alright, the Most They put the power Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, put the spread on them, right, to overthrow that government. Okay, and this is what we're supposed to be doing, measuring the times and seeing what these things happening, because like I said, in the opening interlude, it happening in Germany, it happening in Ireland, it happening in Austria, it happening in Germany, it happening all over the place. Alright. Second Address 9 and 1 reads, he answered me then and said, measure thou the times diligently in itself, and see part of the signs past which I have told thee before. Then thou shalt understand that this is the very same time wherein the highest begin to visit the world in which he made. Alright, how do we measure the times? Alright, we line up world events, alright, with prophecy. Or we line up prophecy with world events what's happening now, because that's what we say, as the saying goes. Right, the news media tells you what is happening. All right, the scriptures tell you why. All right, verse 3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then thou shalt well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. So when you see these things happening on a mass scale, know that the end is near. The end is manifesting itself. Alright? The Most High Power Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is setting up his chessboard, alright, for when he comes and he returns. Alright, as we know, the master chess player. Alright, it's gonna call what you call checkmate. Alright. So Lord's willing, that lesson was edifying and it serves a purpose. Alright. I'd like to give all thanks, glory, honor, and praise to the Supreme Power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honor to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone. And peace and salutation to the hopefully elect. Alright, this is the brother Cosmo closing out. Until we meet again. Shalom, Abad Babal, and Ban-Yasharahla.